You're watching a Highwire Media podcast.
Welcome to Connect the Conspiracy Show. As always, I'm your host, Larry Leese. On today's episode, we dive into the Black Knight satellite. Is it an alien device? Has it been watching us for 13,000 years? Is it conspiracy or truth, legend or misunderstood debris? Let's dive in, shall we? High above Earth, in the velvet hush of orbit, a shadow drifts. Dark, silent, and possibly ancient. It doesn't bear a flag, doesn't transmit a known signal, and yet some say it has been watching us for 13,000 years. Conspiracy or truth, legend or misunderstood debris. The mystery of the Black Knight satellite continues to fuel imaginations, spark debate, and stir a sense of cosmic awe. Unlike other spaceborne mysteries that fade with time, this one seems to thrive, woven from a strange tangle of radio signals, unexplained echoes, historical claims, and a single striking photograph from space. It's a story that spans continents, centuries, and disciplines, from the brilliance of Nikola Tesla to the feverish forms of the digital age. For those drawn to the unexplained, the Black Knight is more than a myth. It's a symbol of secrets above us, of watchers from beyond, and of the possibility that humanity is not alone. In this episode, we'll peel back the layers of one of the most enduring space conspiracy theories, tracing its roots, dissecting its claims, and asking the question, what if there's some truth behind the story? The Black Knight conspiracy didn't begin with a single incident, but with a constellation of strange events that conspiracy theorists later stitched into a single narrative. Some point to Nikola Tesla, the eccentric genius of the early 20th century, as the theory's unknowing father. In 1899, while experimenting with a high-voltage transmitter in Colorado Springs, Tesla reportedly intercepted a peculiar signal, one he believes was not of earthly origin. He described it as rhythmic and intelligent. Though scientists today believe Tesla may have unknowingly picked up natural radio emissions from space, perhaps lightning or even early forms of pulsars, conspiracy theories insist he was not contacted by an artificial intelligence circling the planet. The story deepens in 1928 when a Norwegian engineer, Jorgen Hals, detected long-delayed echoes, radio signals that bounced back with unusual delays, seemingly inconsistent with known propagation behavior. This baffled the scientific community at the time and left room for imaginative interpretation. Then came 1954, and the fire was truly lit. UFO researcher Donald Keough, citing unnamed sources in the military, claimed that two unknown satellites were detected in Earth's orbit years before any nation had launched an artificial satellite. Sputnik would not be launched until 1957. The idea that something unnatural was already out there ignited speculation. Though no definitive proof linked these events together, they began forming the tapestry of the Black Knight legend. To believers, these were not random occurrences. They were breadcrumbs left by something orbiting silently just out of sight. The theory of the Black Knight satellite might have remained a dusty tale from UFO newsletters and fringe radio broadcasts until 1998, when NASA inadvertently handed conspiracy theorists a visual talisman, a single haunting photograph. During the STS-88 mission, the first space shuttle flight to the ISS, astronaut Jerry Ross was performing an extravehicular activity when a thermal blanket slipped free and drifted into space. NASA photographed the incident and later released images as part of their public documentation. But one photo in particular, the now infamous Black Knight photo, struck a nerve. It showed a dark, oddly shaped object casting sharp shadows against the blue haze of Earth's curvature. To many, it didn't resemble any conventional piece of equipment. It looked deliberate, almost sculptural, angular, alien. Within days of its release, forums and UFO-centric websites began buzzing. Was this the Black Knight? Had NASA accidentally revealed an ancient extraterrestrial satellite? NASA maintained and continues to affirm that the object was nothing more than a crumpled, discarded thermal blanket tumbling in orbit. They even matched the blanket's expected trajectory to the object's path. To the scientific eye, it was a mundane space debris, but believers were not convinced. To them, the timing was too perfect, the object's shape too intricate, the image too symbolic. In a digital age hungry for proof and wary of institutions, the photograph became a new Rosetta Stone for believers, a moment when myth and modernity collided in pixel and shadow. The Black Knight has a prophet. It is Nikola Tesla. Revered today as a visionary, Tesla was often misunderstood in his time, frequently dismissed for his unorthodox ideas, which straddled the boundary between genius and mysticism. In 1899, while testing a high-frequency transmitter in Colorado Springs, Tesla claimed to receive rhythmic signals of unknown origin. He later wrote, quote, "The feeling is constantly growing on me that I have been the first to hear the greeting of one planet to another." To Tesla, these weren't just natural anomalies. They were intelligent, purposeful, a message. Modern science attributes what Tesla heard to natural sources, cosmic radio waves, perhaps even early emissions from pulsars, which were not discovered until decades later in 1967. Yet Tesla's notebooks suggest he believes the signals were deliberate transmissions, possibly from Mars or another planetary body. This moment has since become a cornerstone of the Black Knight legend. Theorists argue that Tesla may have been the first human to receive a communication from the satellite, long before spaceflight was even imagined. They claim that the Black Knight, already orbiting Earth for millennia, was monitoring us and reached out when Tesla's device pierced its frequency. To believers, Tesla wasn't just a scientist. He was a seer, a man so ahead of his time that he unintentionally made contact. His, noun, his name now resonates through countless articles, videos, and forums devoted to the Black Knight, often elevated to the role of cosmic herald. Of course, to mainstream historians, this is pure speculation. But to those who seek the hidden patterns of the universe, Tesla remains the first voice of conversation we're only beginning to understand. The quiet dawn of modern radio technology, a strange phenomenon began to baffle even the most rational minds. Long-delayed echoes, first documented in 1928 by Jorgen Hals, appeared to defy science. Hals had been experimenting with radio transmissions from his home in Oslo when he noticed something unsettling. His signals were returning to him, not milliseconds later as expected, but delayed by several seconds, even up to 15 seconds. Such delays couldn't be explained by known ionospheric reflection or tropospheric bounce. The scientific community was intrigued. Some suggested that the signals might be reflecting off distant celestial bodies like the moon, or perhaps bouncing between Earth and layers of the atmosphere in ways yet to be understood. Others proposed that space might be far more chaotic and variable than they previously thought. But for a handful of imaginative minds, the explanation was something far more extraordinary. These signals were being intercepted and answered by something in space. This is where the Black Knight theory gained another piece in its cosmic jigsaw puzzle. Proponents claim that the LDE were the result of a non-human satellite, perhaps orbiting in a polar trajectory, hidden from standard detection, deliberately repeating the signals back, possibly as a form of rudimentary contact. Over the decades, LDEs continue to surface in various amateur radio experiments, though never consistently or with scientifically verifiable patterns. Yet, in the lore of the Black Knight, they've taken on a sacred status, evidence that something out there has been listening and occasionally speaking back. More skeptical voices argue that the phenomenon, while rare, has plausible explanations rooted in multipath signal propagation, magnetic spheric interactions, or even man-made interference. Still, the very nature of LDEs, fleeting, hard to replicate, and deeply strange, has ensured that they remain fertile ground for speculation. In the narrative of the Black Knight, LDEs aren't just anomalies. They're whispers in the dark, drifting across the decades, teasing the possibility that we are not alone and never have been. The Black Knight satellite is not a single object, event, or transmission. It's a narrative mosaic, a constellation of unrelated phenomena woven together by the human drive to make sense of the unexplained. And in that sense, the conspiracy is not just about outer space. It's about the inner workings of human imagination. At its core, the myth exemplifies, apophenia, the tendency to perceive meaningful connections between unrelated things. Psychologists note that this cognitive bias is often stronger in individuals who seek certainty or control in a complex world. Faced with scattered anomalies, odd signals, curious photographs, unusual delays, the mind reaches for a unifying explanation. This is exactly how the Black Knight story formed. Over the span of a century, events that were scientifically unrelated, Tesla's signal reception, Hal's delayed echoes, Kehoe's 1950s satellite claims, the 98 NASA photo, were pulled together and reframed as evidence of a single ancient intelligence orbiting Earth. The spread of the theory was further accelerated by popular media and the rise of the internet in the 1970s and 80s. UFO magazines and amateur radio circles kept the flame alive. In the 90s and early 2000s, websites and online forums gave the myth new life as users began posting photos, audio samples, and long-form speculative essays. Conspiracy culture often began feeding on itself, each anecdote reinforcing the next. Modern media made it easier than ever to curate a reality that confirms one's beliefs. An image on Reddit, a snippet from Tesla's notebook, a YouTube documentary with ominous music, each piece acts like a pixel in a large illusion. Even reputable sources, when stripped of context, can seem like smoking guns to the eager believer. This ability to link the unrelated is what gives the Black Knight theory its staying power. It doesn't rely on a single event that can be debunked. Instead, it scatters seeds of mystery across time and space, allowing each new generation to interpret the story in a way that resonates with their fears, hopes, and curiosities. And perhaps that's the genius of it. The Black Knight isn't just a phantom satellite. It's a mirror reflecting how we process mystery and how far we'll go to find meaning in the unknown. For all the mystery that shrouds the Black Knight satellite, mainstream science offers clear, rational explanations for nearly every puzzle piece tied to conspiracy. While these answers may lack the thrill of alien surveillance, they serve as a necessary counterweight, reminding us that not even mystery requires an extraordinary solution. Let's begin with the STS-88 photograph. Often described as visual proof of the satellite, NASA has consistently identified the object as a thermal insulation blanket that floated away during extravehicular activity. The shape, while unusual, is explainable. The thin materials twist and contort in microgravity, producing bizarre silhouettes. NASA even cataloged the incident. Orbital tracking data confirms that the object re-entered Earth's atmosphere and burned up shortly afterward. As for Nikola Tesla's radio signals, many researchers believe that what he intercepted were natural cosmic phenomena, most likely radio emissions from Earth's own ionosphere or distant pulsars, which emit rhythmic signals eerily similar to what Tesla described. At the time, these natural sources were unknown, so it's understandable why Tesla, ever open to cosmic speculation, interpreted them as intelligent communication. The long-delayed echoes are perhaps the most puzzling scientifically. However, physicists and engineers have offered several viable theories, including ionospheric ducting, where signals bounce between atmospheric layers, a multipath propagation, where signals take longer routes via indirect reflections, and man-made signal interference, especially as radio use expanded globally. No peer-reviewed evidence supports the existence of a satellite capable of intentionally echoing radio transmissions, especially one undetected for thousands of years. Then there's the 1954 claim by Donald Kehoe about mysterious satellites orbiting Earth. Fortunately, there are no official records from NORAD or any space agency confirming such detections. Some speculate that Kehoe may have been referencing radar anomalies or misunderstood tracking data, which were not uncommon in the early days of Cold War surveillance. In essence, while the Black Knight narrative stitches together a compelling patchwork of curiosities, each individual thread, when pulled, tends to unravel under scrutiny. The scientific method demands repeatability, evidence, and falsifiability. In the case of the Black Knight, what we have instead are isolated events, anomalies, and a fair dose of wishful thinking. But science doesn't exist to kill wonder, it exists to deepen it. The truth about space, radio waves, and orbital mechanics is already incredible. Yet for some, the idea of a mundane explanation will always pale beside the romance of an ancient extraterrestrial sentinel silently circling above us. The enduring allure of the Black Knight satellite is not just about mystery, it's about meaning. In a world filled with chaos, complexity, and technological overload, conspiracy theories offer something deeply comforting, a narrative. At its heart, the Black Knight myth is a cosmic detective story. It whispers to us that the universe is not indifferent, that someone or something is watching, that our history is more than it seems. For many believers, this is not frightening, it's exhilarating. The broader phenomenon of conspiracy culture thrives in moments of uncertainty, when institutions fail to communicate clearly, or when reality feels overwhelming. People turn to alternative frameworks. These frameworks may be flawed, but they offer structure, heroes and villains, secrets, and revelations. So what is the Black Knight satellite? Is it a misinterpreted photo, a myth built from scattered anomalies, a metaphor for our yearning to connect with the stars? Or could it be something more, something ancient and silent, drifting in the dark, waiting? Perhaps the answer lies not in debunking the myth, but in understanding what it reveals about us. We are a species that asks big questions, that stitches meaning into silence, that wonders not only if we are alone, but also if someone had already found us. The Black Night may never be confirmed or even real, but the mystery endures because it reminds us that even in the age of satellites and science, there are still shadows in orbits and stories left to tell. So, with that, let me know your thoughts on the Black Knight satellite in the comment section below. Do you think it's an alien watching us, or do you think it's just debris from the space? As always, give us a thumbs up if you like our video, hit that subscribe button down below. And of course, if you want to support the channel, you can scan this QR code right there and support the channel by going to buymeacoffee.com/connecttheconspiracy. You can support the channel by going to buymeacoffee.com/CTC podcast. That's CTC podcast. And with that, thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.